All right, folks. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that come to my mind when I look at some of these images. So, for example, TikTok. Someone who's going to be using TikTok is probably going to be a teenager or someone in their 20s or 30s or someone probably a little bit more on the young side generally because that is a newer technology that's coming out, a newer app. It's what's trending right now. So it could be a boy or a girl using TikTok. It just generally the profile is someone who's younger. Farmer's Almanac, on the other hand, is probably going to be someone generally either a male or female. Again, doesn't really matter the gender on this one, but someone who's probably going to be in their 40s, 50s, 60s, or somebody who farms or is very dependent on weather and long range weather forecasts. Let's talk about Facebook. Facebook, it could really be anybody between the ages of probably 16 and 100, but generally, according to market research, Facebook users are generally going to be on the older side. So maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, and sometimes us younger generations like me, I'm 23 years old, I still use Facebook pretty often, but I know my mom, who is in her 50s, uses it a lot more often than I do. So there are really no right or wrong answers for these. It's just a way to think about what are these different brands and these different items in our lives and who generally uses them and who's the market really calling out to. So an audience is a group of stakeholders who have the potential to be influenced by a message or cause. Segmenting or profiling is dividing an audience based on common characteristics or values, and targeting is selecting a specific segment to focus your communication and marketing efforts on. So I want you to brainstorm real quick. How do you determine who to segment? So examples of demographics, psychographics, and info sources that you are familiar with. So on the right-hand side, I've talked about what these three things are. Demographics are specific characteristics about an audience that are hard to change. So that might be gender or age, things like that. Psychographics combine someone's attitude and values with their lifestyle choices. Those are a little bit easier to change because that's all like opinion and that's all their personal attitude, and that can change from one day to the next. And lastly is info sources, and that's common places that information is accessed by members of the audience. Okay, so I want you to think about how you determine who to segment, and we'll report back in the next video to see how you did.